against Miami.
Boy, the crowd was booing. They clearly don't like Miami. Tennessee at Mississippi State. You cannot turn the ball over against Tennessee. You've got to make the balls run half-court offense. That means Jamont Gordon running the point cannot turn it over. And Jarvis Bernardo has got to control the lane. You cannot allow Tennessee easy shots at the rim.
Pitt at UConn. A couple of years, UCLA has had its bid for a national championship denied by an SEC team. Go SEC by the numbers. Tennessee, the Volunteers of Bruce Pearl, #1 in the land in RPI. They're quick-paced offense, often starting to shoot it well. They force turnovers, and they've been exceptional thus far. Mississippi State, however, very quietly has improved. They have the best defense in the conference and one of the top shot blockers in the nation in Jarvis Bernardo. Not only those two, but Florida with all of those new baby Gators. And Kentucky, historically the dominant program in the SEC. They've struggled all year, but they have had the tough conference schedule, and now all of a sudden they're starting to play a little bit better. Kentucky 3-2 in the league. These are the standings, the top 3 in each division. Not sure if the SEC is necessarily going to get all 6 of these teams in the tournament right now. Might be a little bit of a down year from that perspective. Now, guys, I know what the RPI says, Tennessee's #1, and now we see what America says about who the #1 team in the SEC is, and right now, overwhelmingly, America believes it is Tennessee. 65% of the people saying that. The people say that. The RPI says that. What say you, Digger Phelps?
I say Mississippi State. I look at Mississippi State. The loss they had the other night in Arkansas with 22 turnovers is not characteristic of what that team really is. I look at them today to use the Kentucky blueprint when Patrick Patterson beat them up inside. Jamal Bradley scored the points outside. Jamont Gordon, as well as Charles Rode, they can be very physical, and I can see Mississippi State knocking off Tennessee today because they got the inside-outside balance where Tennessee just wants to shoot the threes. Yes, Lofton's back, but I don't think they're that good inside.
First of all, these kids are smart, aren't they?
You're referencing the sign that's somewhat sticking to 2, Digger. There it is.
I think Tennessee is the best team in the conference, but I think the conference is way down from what it used to be. Tell me in the SEC, who's better than they were last year, or as good? How many teams? Like Kentucky's not better.
Yep.
Mississippi's better than they were last year, but just about everybody else is down. I think Tennessee's a little bit better. I don't think Tennessee would be the best team in the conference in the last few years. They're the best this year, and that shows why the RPI is an absolute joke. They say it's a tool, like it's a precision tool, all that stuff. It's not a tool, it's a crutch, and we need to get rid of it. It's past its prime. It's not useful anymore.
All right, so SEC right now, Hubert, you look at the way they've matched up against the other quote-unquote big conferences. They don't have a winning record against any of them, to back Jay's point.
Yeah, but, I mean, when you look at Tennessee, I think over the last couple of weeks, they've taken a different level. And I think the one reason is Chris Lofton. I mean, he is the difference maker, in my opinion, for Tennessee. He was struggling at the beginning of the year. The last 3 games, he's averaged 24 points a game, almost 53% from three-point range. He kind of reminds me of Drew Neitzel from Michigan State. When he hits shots, he just elevates this team's presence, and I think Tennessee right now is playing their best basketball.
As Digger continues to orchestrate the ground, Billy Donovan did make one point about the SEC. He said, it may not be strong right now, but because the league is pretty young, in transition, that maybe late February and by March still could have some dangerous teams there. College Game Day rolling from Pauley Pavilion, where the crowd is greeted. Digger, great. There's ever a crowd in the history of college basketball that had a right to have expectations, and perhaps just like USC based on that sign, it would be UCLA, 11 national championships. And certainly the legacy of John Wooden continues to be felt in this crowd, as you've seen. Recently, the Los Angeles Times.
Welcome back to College Game Day, driven by State Farm.
Pass fell out up there.
The college basketball constituency on the West Coast. You've been able to vote on right now. You love to hear these guys pick games. Who would you like to see them pick a little bit later on today? Here are the 4 choices: Florida, Tennessee, UConn, Syracuse, Duke at North Carolina, UCLA at Washington State. And watch, Michigan and Ohio State. Ohio, the ultimate red state, and in Florida, always involved in elections. The Gators and Tennessee, 9 o'clock Eastern time. We've got the State Farm half-court. See if you can win some money. Brad, you should have been lined up and ready. Catch and shoot, baby. He lets it go. He got it off from behind the line, and he's not quite as strong as Kevin Love. He didn't get it there. Still $1,000 to the SEC, Tennessee and Mississippi State.
I think Jamar Gordon, the best player in the SEC, he's a difference maker. I got Mississippi State.
Charles Road beats him up inside. I'm going with Mississippi State, be the Kentucky game plan.
I like Mississippi State at home. I think that's going to be a really good game for them. They're going to have to slow it down, though.
We are 4 minutes away from Syracuse and Villanova. Who do you think wins it?
I got
a show across town against USC. See if he is able to do it tonight against UCLA on ESPN in prime time. We're back at 8 o'clock Eastern time. Another edition of College Game Day from Pauley Pavilion. For these guys, I'm Reese Davis. Time for Syracuse and Villanova now.
Welcome to College Game Day, driven by State Farm.
Excellence is the foundation for this ultimate pyramid of success and has been from the moment that the doors were opened in 1965 when the 2-time reigning national champion UCLA varsity lost to the Bruin freshman led by Lou Alcindor, who put a few more championships in the trophy case. Glad to have you with us, Hubert, Digger, and Jay, along with me, Reese Davis, and we are honored to be here at Pauley Pavilion. Guys, as you think around the country, the great venues, Fog Allen, Cameron, Indoor, it's all a matter of personal preference. Championship legacy, Pauley is unparalleled.
There's no question, this is hallowed ground, and the one thing I've always thought about Pauley, you come in here and you look up at the rafters, and you see only national championship banners. There's no Pac-10 banners, no Final Four banners, no retired jerseys. UCLA is all about national championships and national championships only. It's the only place in America that is like that.
And Pauley Pavilion is like Yankee Stadium. Their uniforms are like the pinstripe.
So far, now there are a lot of different ways to evaluate conferences, but as you go through the list, Hubert, which conference would you say is the toughest to go through and pull wins out of?
You know, I think it definitely has to be the Pac-10. I mean, you look at this conference, and they're going to get 6, possibly 7 teams in. I think a great example is that it's California won it
in the Sweet 16.
You know, I'm not sure that you guys fired up the computer and voted often enough. You take a look at America's vote about who the fans believe has the strongest conference right now, and it is the ACC, and it's the Pac-10 bringing up the rear. I know why they think it is. They're going to start chanting East Coast bias.
That's East Coast bias.
But they're probably right on this. Like the Pac-10 years past hasn't been the best league. This year it is. Now the ACC is very, very good, and it's really good at the top with Duke and North Carolina. But no league, maybe with the exception of the Big East, has 13 good teams can compete with the Pac-10.
You can't name the 3rd and 4th team right now in the ACC when you look at, it's Duke and Carolina. Clemson's been struggling. You can't pick them. Georgia Tech's up and down. I can't find the 3rd and 4th team in the ACC compared to the Pac-10.
All right, how many, though, out of all these conferences, which conference strongest at the top in terms of maybe getting teams to the Elite Eight?
And that's where you go to the ACC when you look at North Carolina and Duke.
As well, for instance, Digger's former father-in-law played his last concert here in Pauley Pavilion. Henry Mancini. Were you aware of that?
I didn't know that.
Just a little bit of
That's
trivia.
really good. That's X2, by the way.
Well, here
X2.
I didn't want to go down that road, but since you did, and here's another little bit of trivia for you, gentlemen. If you may cue the music for me, please. A little UCLA trivia. See what you know about your Bruin knowledge. Who is the all-time leading scorer at national championships? They have a great big man here right now in Kevin Love, and you see on the floor in front of us at Paulie, first program to 100. Intercollegiate athletics, no program in the country has won 100 NCAA championships except UCLA, and they've celebrated that. You've probably seen the C on the uniforms now in the gold color rather than in the standard blue. Now, probably much to Bill Walton's chagrin, the last couple of years UCLA has had its bid for national championship denied by an SEC